breaking news.
Hi, I'm Gideon Yega with MTV News, standing in front of a skyline that I grew up with that today just seems incomplete. It's been over 24 hours since the collapse of the World Trade Center, and smoke still hangs over the city, which is trying to make some sense of the suicide attacks. We spent the morning speaking with some students and young workers who were at Ground Zero, and for whom yesterday was anything but ordinary.
Yesterday was anything but a regular school day. I came in a little bit late, actually, and I'd planned to come in and buy a croissant, and I was on the NR train, and they said there was a criminal investigation pending.
Yesterday, around 8:45, our teacher told us to take out our homework, and as we were passing it up, we all heard a loud explosion, and the desk shook. So we all looked up, and we couldn't figure out what it was. And about 5 seconds later, a kid runs in and says they're bombing the World Trade Center. It's on fire.
Because at first, people were kind of joking around when we heard it was a plane that flew into the building from the principal and the television stations that we were watching. And we're like, oh, that's really funny. A plane went into one of the buildings. But after the second one, it just went from kind of, funny and odd to completely scary.
And I got to the first intersection, and I looked up, and there was a crowd of people next to me. And I said, holy shit. There were two gaping holes, one in each building, two red kind of coal-like holes, and you could see smoke being pulled upwards by the air. It was like nothing I'd ever seen. It was like being in Godzilla.
We see a plane coming in to hit the North Tower, I believe, and it just went through the middle, just went straight through. So at that point, I ran downstairs, tried to get to a payphone, and lines were long. Almost every kid was waiting for a payphone. So I went to the guidance office and speak to a guidance counselor, and at that moment, she told us all the phones in the building were out. So I was getting hysterical because I needed to reach my mother. I wasn't sure if my father was there or anything like that. And then I heard zzz, zzz, and the computers, the screens were blinking, and the lights were flashing.
And then I go in the hallway to the bathroom, and my friend is just hysterical because she actually witnessed, from outside. She was late to school. She actually saw people falling out the building. And then we're sitting down talking, and all the power just went out.
The first building collapsed, and the lights went out. Everything was shaking, and they were just trying to get all the kids out, and they evacuated us through the north side away from the World Trade Center.
And all of a sudden, you could see debris falling, and even though on a lot of televisions it looks like it's falling straight, from where we were sitting in my classroom, it kind of looked like pieces were falling sideways because you could really see the debris landing on buildings.
You hear somebody yell, World Trade Center Building 1 just fell. The whole tower is gone. And we all just start screaming, panicking. Everybody's crying.
Police burst through the door of my school. I was so completely scared because it seemed just out of one of those really bad B horror movies, like Independence Day or something. All of a sudden, there were all these police there with guns. They all just rushed through the door.
My only thoughts were, I'm probably going to die. So I sat and wrote something.
When we hit the street, it was clouds and clouds of black smoke behind us. And some students said that they saw bodies falling out of the window and papers from people's desks coming out of the window.
You could see all the rescue workers just running down the street because the cloud of smoke was literally inches behind them.
It may sound cheesy, but I wrote, if I die here today, I'd want one thing known, which is that I still believe that people are good.
If you're interested in donating blood, you have to be at least 17 years old, 110 pounds, in good health, HIV or sexually transmitted disease negative, and you can't have had a body piercing or a tattoo within the last 12 months. If you want to donate blood and you live in New York, check out the American Red Cross or the New York Blood Center, but please call before you do at 1-800-933-2566. If you live outside of New York and you're interested in helping by donating blood, check out www.redcross.org or go to mtvnews.com for a complete list of charity organizations that are helping deal with this tragedy.